Well, I haven't got the waterproof back on this camera because I wanted everybody to hear what I was saying, so I hope the camera hasn't got any water damage. I'll have to see when I get back. The other thing is, you know, with this bond business, is the horse trusts you going through this mud and doesn't start ploughing through it and quickening. I mean, how many horses do you know, they see some mud and they want to rush through? Well, when you've got this bond with your horse, they just put one foot in front of the other and they don't rush through because of the mud, because they trust you not to put them in a place where they're going to get stuck in the mud. When they don't trust you, they start to rush because they get worried about the mud. And we like to help all our horses we work with understand that actually you don't rush through mud, you take your time and put one foot in front of the other so that you don't slip. So actually slower, if you notice Melle, yeah, I'm doing a little sponging on the reins from time to time, but she's actually slowing down herself and measuring where her feet are going. So that's super. So that's another thing where she's thinking about what she's doing, where she's going, being with me, and isn't thinking about going home as fast as she can. Which is all part of the bonding process. And this is a really nasty bit down here, and really they can't help but slide. So the thing is, the slower they go, the less they're going to slide, so they want to take little steps. Melle says, well, perhaps if I stop and take a little step. So nice when they'll just stop. So never be in too much of a hurry to get them going again, especially on the way home. If they want to stop, let them have a little stand. Yeah, I know it's slippery. She says, but it's slippery. There, good girl. There, beautifully done. Have a sort of wrap this up and repeat. You know, give Melle time. I give Melle time, thinking time. So if I say I wanted to trot down here, I give her thinking time, because she's walking nicely, isn't she? You know, to give her a big stab in the ribs and say, come on, trot on, it is not the right way to do it. You know, maybe give a little half halt like this and have the leg on and, you know, vibrate the leg, as I say, vibrate the leg, so that she knows something different's going to happen, that I'm going to be asking for something. So, like, I prepare her, don't just ask. You know, even though the time between preparation and execution might be infinitesimal, there has been that preparation always with the horses. Otherwise they get worried and they're only waiting for you to ask them something, and they try and be ahead of you because they're worried about the asking. And then people, you know, they wonder why the horse is ahead of them, and that's really, you know, often the case, that the horse is worried that you're going to ask them something and they're kind of like, they're ready for it. Whereas Melle's not ready for me to ask her one thing in a way, but yet she's absolutely with me in another. And if I wanted her to trot, I'd give her some sort of preparation. I wouldn't just apply the leg. That's what I'm saying. It's very, to just apply the leg is just really, really basic. You're not necessarily talking to the horse. So I'll give her some indication. I'll do that here. And as I'm giving it to her, I'm giving her time to process what I've asked. So, like, we're out for a relaxed hack. I don't want her to be just like, whoops, snap into it, straight to it type thing. So give her a little preparation. I'd maybe just do a little joggle with the reins. She says, oh, do we want me to stop? Well, I'll stop. Right, well, we'll walk on again, so I've let her stop. And then I'll just start squeezing the leg and giving her thinking time, because she probably doesn't want to trot up here. So I'll keep the pressure on the legs and I'll say, yeah, I do want you to trot, and here we go for a trot. And yeah, it's really nice. So if I said, no, we're going to walk, she says, oh, okay, because I only wanted to walk anyway. That's so much nicer than a horse absolutely bounding into the trot almost before you've asked for it. And the reason for that is because the rider isn't preparing the horse for an instruction or a cue or an aid. They're just doing it kind of like putting their foot on the accelerator of the car. You know, if you go to pull away or overtake, you put your foot down on the accelerator and away you go. But it's not as mechanical as that with horses. They really appreciate being given time to process the information and be given set up for what you're going to ask of them, so that they're not worried in the interim when you're not asking anything. You know, they're not worried that you're going to suddenly ask them something. And that's where she is now, and that's why I say we have a bond, because she's not worried that I'm going to ask her something. She's not ahead of me, and she's just happy to be with me and dawdling along like this. So on the way home, yeah, I can easily get her excited and rev her up, but that isn't the point. The point is we both want to enjoy the countryside together. That's the point. Together. So like it's her and me riding together. That's what it's all about. Me and her, and she's not in a hurry to get back home with her friends. And you can't blame horses that want to do that. I mean, that's where they feel secure. But she's not worried about that. You know, we could be out all day and she'd just be happy to be with me. And to me, that's what the bond is all about. Not just on the ground, but, you know, transferring it to saddle. And yes, I've had to work for it. I've had to work for it as I do for every horse. You know, it doesn't... Yes, it would happen over time, I'm sure. But yeah, I've worked for it. And I've supported her, I've directed her, I've shown her. And I've been consistent with her and got her to the place where she thinks it's fine. You know, she's just, yeah, everything's fine in Melle's world. And the other thing I wanted to say as well is, you know, if you're going to shorten up the reins for any reason, and mostly there won't be a reason unless the horse is going too fast, well, before it's gone too fast you want to slow it up. But if you're using pressure like this, you must, as soon as the horse responds, slows down, stops, you must let go of it. When you ride your horse, you must release that pressure, because if you don't, the horse doesn't understand what it is that you want, because the pressure doesn't come off. So when you use the reins for any reason, as soon as you get a micro indication that the horse is doing what you've asked, you know, if it's like this, as soon as she starts to walk over to one side, release the pressure. If I want her to go this way, as soon as she starts to walk over that way, I release the pressure. So then she knows she's done the right thing. If I kept the pressure on, it sets up a kind of worry process for the horse. And then they're always worried. And then they're ahead of you. So yeah, a horse, if you've got a bond with your horse, they're just happy to be with you. Now, of course, some people like a horse that hurries home because they think it's fun. Well, that's fine if you think it's fun. That's no problem, because for the horse it's neither right nor wrong to hurry home. But I prefer a horse that is in no particular hurry to come home, because then I know that the horse is happy to be with me rather than anxious to return to his friends or a feed or whatever else is happening in the comfort zone. So once they're out of the stables, once they're in the countryside, they're not in their comfort zone as such, and that's where you can kind of test the power of the bond. So normally I'd be talking away to Melle, giving her lots of cuddles from on top, pats, and telling her what a good girl she is, etc., etc. But, you know, we've got a strong connection with each other. She can have a ride where, you know, I'm more focusing on speaking about it than actually doing it. And you can tell, you know, I mean, what could be more relaxed than this? Head down. It's not down with depression, it's down with relaxation and happiness. Just wandering home. and we've had a lovely ride, haven't we, Mel? And now we've come back, it stopped raining and the sun's come out. I better go and see if there's anything, if this camera's still fully functional.